Rondo, what's up with you, young gentleman? Look here. I tried to catch up with all y'all earlier, but I was having technical difficulties on my YouTube spot, so I had to cut this down. But it's no secret what I'm talking about. What I'm finna chop it up with y'all today is pretty much what the good old boys terms actually means. If anybody who watching me from Instagram, just follow me on YouTube at K9 ProSeeds. You'll be able to see what I'm all the pictures and videos I'm finna post up. Just so that y'all can see what I'm doing. I don't want you to think I'm ignoring you or if I don't get to some of your comments or whatnot. So let me break this down to you right now. I was actually scrolling and moving around through YouTube, and I wound up catching up with a video from Documentary TV. And he was interviewing Diane Jessup. And if you don't know who Diane Jessup is, in my personal opinion, she's like one of the founders of the PSAs and the Schützens, far as introducing the pit bulls into that sport. This young lady right here, she's the individual who made it to where the sport was able to recognize those animals as competitors. Now, what she did from there is she pretty much built her legacy as an animal activist. Because for what it's worth, if you didn't know who Diane Jessup is, she's actually outside of an animal trainer. She's also she's an animal catcher. I forgot the name, but she works for the, I guess like you can call it a pound, humane services. She works for them. So she has a very intricate understanding of pit bulls, animals, period. But she has a very intricate understanding of pit bulls, and she knows what they're actually made for. Because like I said before, she actually utilizes pit bulls for sport training. I mean, for the PSA and for the Schützen. She has 3 or 4 dogs that's titled like level 3. If you know anything about that type of stuff, you'll have an understanding that that's not super easy to capture, but it's not hard if you know what you're doing. Either way it go, that's the introduction to who she is now. I was able to see documentary TV, and I was watching one of his old clips or old videos or whatnot. Like I said, he interviewed her. And when he interviewed her, she was pretty much introducing herself, telling everybody who she is, what she do. She can't be fucked with. Scary. I believe that. I do believe that, and I do respect that. But for what it's worth, when he was interviewing her, she was telling herself of what it was. And I actually ended up taking notes because I liked everything she said when I listened to it the first time, but I was able to hear a few things that caught my attention. And once I was able to pinpoint what that was, I was able to jot down notes during the whole video. Because let me see, the video was like 40 minutes long. And I'm not going to make y'all watch this video at all. Not that amount, but I will highlight a few spots here and there of what I was able to capture. Pretty much some hypocrisy. So when he was interviewing her, she was pretty much explaining everything who she was and how she come to be and whatever and what all she do. Now, from my perspective, as I said, I respect as far as what she was able to do in the sport world of the PSAs and the Schützen based on the animals she put together. Because if you didn't know, she had a brindle pit. I forgot his name, and she actually wrote a book. But this particular pit, I didn't know he belonged to her. And this specific dog, he ended up being on a movie that I liked called The Good Son. Matter of fact, he ended up being in that particular movie, and I didn't know that dog belonged to her. But let me see if I can pull this up right fast. I'm pretty sure I could. But the movie that dog was in, that was actually her dog. And you can tell from the skill set that this animal has, even though it's a small little cameo, you can pretty much tell that this dog knows exactly what he's doing with her and just in general. Matter of fact, let me put this together. Let me see if I can move this somewhere to where it can be seen, and I can bring it back to y'all to where you can see this here. Let me let y'all look at my screen right fast. So allow me to let y'all see what I'm showing y'all, because this is the video. This is a small little clip of the trailer to the movie The Good Son. So let me put this together and let's go.
You're a doctor. You know things. Some things. What if there was this boy? say he was evil?
Don't believe me.
You should.
When innocence is just a mask.
So as you can see, that right there was a small clip of the good son. That was her dog in that movie. I didn't know when I was young. I just saw Pitbull clip there, little Brenda dog. I liked it. Over time, I was able to realize that that specific dog, he was also in a on the cover of a book that she had actually wrote. It's called The Working Pitbull. Matter of fact, I'll let you see what that looked like too. So this is her book that she made, that she had published. I want to say this was in like either the 80s or the 90s. Let me see if I can let y'all see what I'm looking at. Let's pull you up over here. Yeah, see, that's her. If anybody know anything about books or whatever, I'm a Pitbull fanatic. She put a stamp on working the breed in the legal. Yes, she did. You're right about that, Scary. She did put a stamp on them to recognize them. Hold on, what is this here? Oh, I think I'm giving y'all a little too much. Yeah. Either way it go. If you pay attention to the breed, she was someone who was pretty much, like I said, a pioneer in this here. And when I was listening to her sit and talk with a documentary, I was taking notes to what she was saying, because I appreciate listening to people who know what they're talking about. So let me give you a small little glimpse of some of what she was coming off, and we're going to go bit by bit into it. Let me see. Let me give y'all just some of me right fast. Hold on. And then we're going to end up jumping to a few key points that I was able to capture. And apparently I'm struggle streaming, I guess, right now. My computer ain't really working with me right now. I had a little bit of situation earlier, but we got it together now. So hold on, here we go. I think we're rolling right now.
All right, guys, so let's go ahead and get started. Right now, we have Mrs. Diane Jessup on. So let's kind of do a fresh start. Diane, if you don't mind.
Okay, so this in the video, this is the individual from Documentary TV. He was the one who was interviewing Diane Jessup, and she's about to introduce herself and speak about her credentials, which, I kind of gave you some, but she can give you a whole lot more better.
Sure. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience, let them know who you are, and when your relationship with the American Pitbull Terrier began.
Okay. Well, I'm Diane Jessup. I live up here in Washington State, and I had pit bulls, I don't know, 30 years or so. It's been 1985 is when I got my first dog, who was Band Dog Dread. He was a pretty well-known dog back in the day. Had Schutzen 3 and IPO 3 and a bunch of stuff. And I just I fell in love with the breed. I was a trainer at that time, training police dogs and Schutzen and all that. And what attracted me initially to the American Pit Bull was that I'm kind of an easygoing, friendly person, but I am very.
Well, as you see, she wound up introducing herself and saying what she do with the dogs. Now we're going to jump, because I don't want to make y'all have to sit and watch this whole video. We're going to jump a few frames, a few clicks or whatnot. Let me see. Let's see. We're going to jump to the 7-minute mark. We're going to jump to the 7-minute mark, so you can hear her speak about John P. Colby, because this is what I was able to recognize. So let's jump this here to about 7 minutes.
work a day in his life. Because he was, and John Colby,
Here we go.
he was a large breeder, and I think people think that he more or less started the breed because he was quite the advertiser. But he worked with several people and traded dogs back and forth. He did never work a day in his life. He kept himself and his really large family going even through the Depression, just with his dogs and his cock. So he must have been a pretty good breeder. People respected him, but I do want to clear up the fact that he was somehow singled out. There were several breeders as him that were selling dogs to the public. A lot of people say, "Oh, he was a peddler." You know, yeah, he kind of was. He that's how he supported his dogs. He sold puppies, but he was not the only one doing that. There were several people. Donovan, at that time, was represented himself as the largest pit bull kennel in the universe. So he had some contemporaries that were selling dogs. And as far as he did bring in dogs from England and Ireland. They were small dogs, much smaller than what we see as purebred today, generally speaking. The one dog he used as an outcross was a dog named Galti, and he was a little shaver, about 20 pounds.
Okay, that's a little piece of it. That's a little piece of what she's speaking about John P. Colby, and I think I'm having a little bit of trouble on my stream through YouTube. At least that's what it's saying. So since I see that I'm struggling on YouTube, I'm struggling streaming, I'm finna go on and cut YouTube off. We're not even finna bother with that shit again. We finna go on and cut this short. We're gonna end that. Yep.